Welcome to another exciting new video of talking about Stoicism. This is tea, by the way. Really. Anyway, I thought we would do today. I haven't recorded any Stoic videos in the new year yet, but I was waiting for some inspiration, and of course we will continue with Seneca at some point. But today I thought what we would talk about was a remark that resonated well with me. We had a couple of days ago at our institution where I work, Chris Hatfield. He came by. If you don't know Chris Hatfield, he's a Canadian astronomer, and he was the first mission leader, what do you call that, captain of the International Space Station as a Canadian, right? So he's accomplished very interesting things. Astronauts, very interesting to listen to the story of an astronaut, I felt. And so in his talk, I'm not going to summarize the whole thing, but in his talk he talked about himself and how he got to be an astronaut and what it takes to be an astronaut and really those kinds of things. So one thing at some point that he said resonated very well with me because it struck me as a very Stoic thing, and it made me think, and I haven't, this was last Thursday, I'm recording this on Sunday, I still haven't fully recovered from the implications of that remark. So at some point, and I have to paraphrase, I didn't bring any paper with me, which is ironic, but I didn't have anything to write down what he said. But paraphrasing, he made a statement along the lines of what sets astronauts apart, or what characterizes astronauts. And he said what all astronauts have in common is that they all feel that there is always something to get better at or to learn more about. And I thought that was very interesting because that's a very Stoic viewpoint. If you read the Stoics, for example, take someone like Marcus Aurelius. It's always a little difficult because is he a Stoic, is he not? But in any case, he was certainly influenced by the Stoics. He had a Stoic teacher, etc. And he writes throughout the meditations, on multiple occasions, reminders to himself to improve himself. Don't, and this is really paraphrased, but don't be angry all the time. Try not to be angry. Try to stay calm with people. Keep working on that. If you can't teach people something, then you're just going to have to tolerate them, and there's nothing you can do, and that's just the way it's going to be. Continuously there are these reminders if there's always something to get better at. And the Stoics, generally speaking, continuously emphasize that. You won't ever be perfect. Whatever it is you do, if you follow the Stoic way, you will never be perfect. You will always make errors. You will make mistakes. You will be wrong. You will have setbacks. You will fail at what you're trying to accomplish. You will still lose your temper once in a while. You will still be frustrated or angry or sad or whatever it is you're trying to not be so much. You will always have that. But if you persevere, you'll get better and better. And that's pretty much it. You'll just get better. You'll get better. You get better at what you do. And all those things become easier. It'll become easier. What you do becomes easier. So it'll become easier to not be to be less frustrated. It'll become easier to not get angry so quickly, etc. And as a result, there's also more to learn always, right? I mean, not only do you get better, but there is that continuous sense of improvement. Because getting better does not mean getting perfect. And the Stoics, they continuously emphasize that. You can't be perfect. Only the sage is perfect. Only the perfectly wise person is perfect. But you're not a sage. And as I've said before, the interesting thing about the Stoics is that these Stoic masters did not claim to be sages. In some other schools of philosophy, the teachers did. Epictetus was, not Epictetus. Okay, I'm now blanking on the name. It'll come to me in a second. But there are other schools where the teachers were much fuller of themselves, and who did make such claims like, well, I am enlightened, so I will now teach you. Well, the Stoics continuously emphasize, no, I'm not. In the Discourses, Epictetus actively denies that. He says, no, when asked by his students, so are you a sage? He says, no, definitely not. But there we are. So it's interesting. Now, the more or less existential crisis that this gave me, this simple statement, because I like it a lot, and it appeals to me. But the crisis that it gave me was, but when is it enough? When do you know that something is enough? If you live on the premise of there is always more to learn, there is always stuff to get better at, there are always things you can improve on, how do you know it's enough? And for me, for example, that I think that struck me particularly because I struggle with that feeling to begin with. I never know if what I'm doing is good enough or if it's okay. And how do you know it's enough? So let's talk about something very pragmatic. I teach statistics to psychology students. And I have taken many statistics courses, undergraduate, graduate, like every level. But I've also read, especially now that I'm teaching that material, there's a difference between taking a course as a student and being able to teach that material, right? So I have read up a lot. I have read a lot of further material on statistics. I can honestly say at this point, not hundreds of pages, thousands of pages. And I still feel that it's not enough. I can still learn more things. I can still understand things at a deeper level, certain things. Other things I feel that I'm kind of there, but even then I'm not sure if I'm really there. So it's something that I struggle with. You can always be better and become better at something. But at what point do you say, yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm where I want to be. How do you know when you're there? So it's a question to you, because I don't know how to answer my own question. I don't know. That's why it took me a while to make videos. I've been thinking about it a lot. And then it came up in that talk, and then I was thinking about it more. How do you know that what you're doing is good enough? Because it's easy to delude yourself into saying, oh yeah, no, that's not, I've done what I could. I did what I could. And I think that's one of the ways Stoicism gets abused a lot. Oh, I know, but it's not within my control. No, some things are within your control. You just say they're not within your control so that you can then say, well, it's not within my control. Nothing I can do. But that's a warped version of Stoicism, right? So at what point do you decide, yep, that's it. I am where I need to be. I don't know. Maybe you know. Or maybe I should go to space. Maybe if you go into space, you realize at some point that is enough. There isn't anything else to do. I don't know. I'm not making fun here, but I'm just saying I don't know. These are my thoughts, and I would very much like to hear your thoughts. Do you also feel that this is a valuable way of approaching things? Like there is always more to learn. There's always more. And if so, at what point do you say, think that's it? Think I'm there? Let me know in the comments, please. Thank you for watching another, I should probably start calling these a moment of incoherent ramblings with B.R.E. Brown. But anyway, there we are. I hope this was somewhat interesting and useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye.